Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name's Levi Barrett. I am one of the trainers here with Rail Bookers and Amtrak Vacations, and I will be guiding you through today's webinar. What we're going to be looking at are some of our fabulous coast-to-coast journeys across the United States of America. From the east to the west and west to the east, we have some incredible holidays, taking in some of the most fantastic sites, whether they be national parks or some of the biggest cities in the States. Our holidays have something for everyone. So why do travelers love rail bookers? From that moment you pick up the phone and speak to one of the team, you'll realize we really have that real rail expert knowledge. We know the rail from the best routes and times to ensure you have the very best holiday possible. We're actually able to book from today all the way up to 2024. So whether you're looking at a last-minute getaway or looking forward to that real bucket list trip, we have you covered. And we offer with that maximum flexibility. So although all of our holidays are completely independent, meaning there's no having to wait for group numbers or being led on someone else's time, we can add in as many nights or days as you'd like within these trips and fully customize them for you. Whether you'd like to extend a cruise holiday or put together something completely tailor-made, we have it all for you. I like to say no rail trip is too complicated for us, and if the train goes there, so do we. We do have a number of digital brochures available on our website, so please do check those out. Just go to railbookers.co.uk and you will be able to download these. We have some destination-specific brochures as well as our Rail Bookers Worldwide brochure. But one of our latest editions, our luxury brochure, featuring 8 of our most popular luxury train journeys around the world and holidays featuring them. We offer 24-hour support, so although these are independent holidays, we will have somebody at the end of the phone should you need any help whatsoever whilst you are away. Why book now? Well, lots of people seem to be doing so, that's for sure. So availability really is getting low across the globe. It's a really interesting situation, from going from nearly nobody traveling to everybody wanting to travel. So what we have done is introduce our flexibility policy, allowing you customers to book new reservations. And what that does is up to 60 days prior to departure, you will be able to either change or cancel that trip and postpone. You can even change the duration or destination of your holiday without incurring any change or cancellation fees whatsoever. Any of you rail buffs or enthusiasts out there may be wondering how we're able to book these trips that far in advance. Here at Rail Bookers, we've been working with many of these operators for over 16 or 17 years, so they've allowed us that insider access. So as long as we are booking those tickets for them, we are going to be including accommodation and sightseeing. We're allowed inside access up to 24 months in advance to price guarantee those tickets for you. Meaning once that deposit is popped down, you can get about it and look forward to your trip rather than having to revisit those vendors. Now on to some of the all-exciting product you've all been waiting for. This is one of our most popular itineraries in America, the All-American. Starting off in New York City and then heading across the US, across the northern United States there. In fact, sorry, the All-American heads south first of all through to New Orleans, and that's going to be on board the Sunset Limited, and that will take you down through to New Orleans. It's a 2-night stay in New Orleans, and we do offer sightseeing whilst there. We offer a swamp and bayou tour, taking a short bus ride out to the swamps and then a airboat out onto the bayous and checking out the wildlife there. So gators and some of the stunning birds in the local area as well. Then heading through, across through to Los Angeles, where they'll board the Coast Starlight train. And as you can see here, the train goes incredibly close to the California coast. Actually goes closer than the famous Route 1, which is a famous driving holiday. People like to head across that coastline there. As you can see, the train actually goes closer to the coast itself. Coast Starlight will take you through to Emeryville, which is just across the bridge outside of San Francisco. And from Emeryville, it's a short half-an-hour bus through to San Francisco, and that will take you through to the Fisherman's Wharf area, where we have some stunning properties there for you to stay in. After San Francisco, it's time to board the California ZEPHYR. California ZEPHYR is voted year in, year out the #1 scenic train in North America. Absolutely stunning. Crosses about 7 or 8 states between Chicago and San Francisco. From the rolling red rocks through to the plains of Iowa. That's some stunning, stunning scenery as you're heading across there. As you can see, it's a double-decker train. And again, the train goes places no other form of transport can get to. Halfway through the California ZEPHYR routes, you will hop off of the train into Denver. Here we have the Red Rock Amphitheater. So if you have any bands you fancy seeing, it's always a great time to check out what's on there because it's such a unique venue. But not only that, that stay in Denver, we do include a trip through to the Rocky Mountain National Park. And that's a full day escorted tour, so it will be part of a small group. There's going to be time for lunch and some fantastic photo opportunities before heading back through to Denver and boarding back on to the California ZEPHYR, ending up in Chicago. For those wanting a bit more of the natural side of things and some wildlife, then the Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon, all in one itinerary, just 14 days, starting at £2,799 per person. The journey begins with a trip out on board the Empire Builder. Sorry, boarding the California ZEPHYR this time through to Salt Lake City again. And then it's a 1-night stay in Salt Lake City. Between Salt Lake City and Yellowstone National Park, it is a rather long transfer, as you're looking at about 8 hours on board that bus, but you will be witnessing some of the most incredible scenery there is to see in the States, heading through to Yellowstone National Park. As you head out of Salt Lake City, of course, the Salt Lake Plains, very flat, and then all of a sudden, you're hit with Yellowstone National Park and its incredible rolling hills and mountains and these turquoise lakes, sulfur lakes. After a stay at Yellowstone itself at West Yellowstone National Park, it's back down through to Salt Lake City, and then heading back through overnight on board the train through to San Francisco. In San Francisco, we include a full-day tour of Yosemite National Park. And for any of those wanting some time to explore Yosemite itself, we can include a stay in the park itself, giving you some free time to explore or even a guided walk. After San Francisco, it's back down that California coast through to Los Angeles. Los Angeles, lots of people do like to extend their stay here as there is so much to see. Of course, you've got the famous Hollywood Hills, but downtown Los Angeles, there's such incredible sights as well. Whether you want to do some celeb spotting or head out down to the beach. From Los Angeles, we start to head back inland through to Flagstaff, and that's going to be a one-night on board the train, and that will take you through to Flagstaff. And then you're heading through to the lovely railway town of Williams. Williams is the starting point of the Grand Canyon Railway, which heads between Williams and the south rim of the canyon itself, literally a stone's throw from the very edge of the canyon. Fun fact with the Grand Canyon Railway, if you can, make a note definitely for sure, the first Saturday of the month is going to be a steam carriage going to be pulling this, a steam engine, sorry, will be pulling the Grand Canyon Railway through to South Rim for you. We do offer some fantastic properties right at the edge of the canyon, meaning you can enjoy this view at sunrise and sunset. It's literally just a couple of minutes stroll from most of our properties at the canyon. Another popular coast-to-coast journey here, we have on board the California ZEPHYR again, from New York City all the way through to San Francisco, with 2 nights in New York, a 2-night stay in Denver, and a 2-night stay in Chicago. One of my most favorite excursions we offer is the architectural river cruise in Chicago. So before I visited Chicago, I was really unaware that they'd had a Great Fire there, very similar to the Great Fire of London, which wiped out almost the whole city. And as a result of that, when they started to rebuild, of course, land was at a premium, so they started building upwards. And you have there some of the finest examples of skyscrapers in the world, and such a variety as well over the years. Definitely recommend taking that excursion. Again, from Denver, we do include the Rocky Mountain National Park Tour, often overlooked by Brits visiting the state, but it really is one of the top national parks in America. And when you are on any of these trips, do head into, when you are at a national park, they sell a national park passport, so you can stamp off all of the national parks that you have visited in the US and Canada. So definitely recommend getting one of those, and it's quite fun collecting those whilst on these trips, for sure. Out of San Francisco, we do include a Napa and Sonoma wine tour. And any wine enthusiasts, I would recommend adding on an additional stay in San Francisco and checking out the Napa Valley wine train experience itself. A private train in real luxury, taking in 5 vineyards in the one journey, tasting throughout, and some of the finest cuisine on board the train itself as well. Definitely recommended for any wine enthusiasts. So I've been talking about a lot of overnights on board the train. So what is it like on board? What can you expect? So this image is of one of the viewing cars on board Amtrak. These are open to everyone, so they are completely unreserved seats. However, I've never had to wait for a seat on board. So people are really generally considerate on board. So if you would be the same, I would definitely recommend it, of course. You will have, of course, your cabins or access to the cabins on board when you book or upgrade to sleeper. But coach customers will also have access to that as well. So generally, we do not recommend coach for any overnights. However, it is easily doable and very cost effective as well. So if you can sleep on board an aeroplane, you will not have any problem sleeping in coach. As you can see, it's just an open carriage with side-by-side seating. They are large seats, very wide, and they do recline quite far back and also have a leg rest. So they're rather comfortable. You do have access to a toilet, but there is no shower facilities in coach. So for that added comfort, I always recommend upgrading to sleeper class. So whether that's a roomette, which is pictured here, with its privacy door, which does lock from the inside. You've got that large window featured behind them there, and two armchairs opposite each other when they are in day mode. There's also a small pull-out table, so you can have any snacks and refreshments on there as well. And then during the evening, it will look something a little like this. There's two bunks which do pull out. The armchairs go together and the top bunk pulls out like that. There isn't a ladder to get to the top bunk in the roomette. It is literally just a step just next to that gentleman's elbow to the left of the picture. There's a small step there, and that will help get to the very top. Each individual train carriage does have a car attendant, so they'll be looking after the guests staying within that train carriage. They stay in the carriage, so they are there 24/7, and at the press of a button, they will be there for any assistance whatsoever. For a bit more space, we do have the bedroom option on board the trains. They're about 3 foot wider, so you can get a bit more movement in there. And they also then have private toilet and shower in the room itself. So they're just for the two people staying in that bedroom, or one. You can book them for sole occupancy, and you will then have your own private toilet and shower. Here you can see the bedroom during the day. You have one which is more of a sofa style seating, and then an additional armchair. Here again, we have the observation carriage, so whether you want to sit back and just enjoy the scenery or read a book. Lots of people like to just enjoy and mingle with the fellow passengers, and you will always strike up some fantastic conversation on board Amtrak, that's for sure. Worth noting, upgrading to a roomette or a bedroom also includes then all meals on board the train. So that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner included for you on board there. If you are a couple or a solo traveller, they will seat you with your fellow travellers. Again, a fantastic opportunity to mingle and to find out what people's stories are. The food is of a great standard as well. They're famed for their steak on board Amtrak, but I would definitely recommend getting up nice and early for their wonderful pancakes. Freshly cooked on board with a lovely strawberry compote. It is fantastic. So what a great way to start a trip in America. Here we have the travel agent reduced rate, which is 20% off for yourself and up to 3 travel companions. There are a few restrictions to that. So no air, we will not be able to give the 20% off of the air element. However, all of the ground arrangements, that's the hotels, excursions, we will be able to apply that for you. Other holidays to the US we offer: Route 66 by rail, the Jazz Blues Rock and Roll, taking in Chicago, Memphis, and New Orleans. American Heritage heading out on the East Coast, Washington, Philadelphia, and of course the Arches and Canyonlands with the Rocky Mountaineer. One of the new routes Rocky Mountaineer offer over there into the Red Rocks. Some incredible scenery to be taken in on that one there. So thanks for joining us today. And any questions, please do not hesitate to get in touch with the team and give us a call. I appreciate your time today. Thank you. Bye-bye.